Now, I hear guys say all the time that if you're in a relationship with a Filipina, then you'll go broke. Is this an over-exaggeration, or are these guys only speaking the truth? Well, I'm certainly going to cover that in this video, and I'll lay it all out for you as it really is. So be sure to stay with me here. Just quickly before I jump into the video, I have some awesome monthly channel memberships available for just 99 cents US per month. This will help for you to show your support for the channel, as well as you'll receive some great perks including free flip books, which I'll be adding more of as we progress through the new year. For those that may be interested, I'll place a link in the pinned comment and description below. So now back to the video. And really, some guys will say that being with a Filipina will keep you broke. And to me, that's a very broad and generalised statement, as is often the case with some people when discussing issues around foreigner-Filipina relationships. And really, you'd be surprised at the amount of times I hear this statement. But really, it only serves to make the person making the statement seem rather foolish, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why. So why is it that some people will have a different view or experience around this? Well, simply, some people are only repeating stories that they've heard from others. So they have no real lived experience as such, but most likely will never tell you of this. And those guys that have lived experience, then I wonder why a man in a relationship with a Filipina would allow his wife to send all of their money home to the Philippines to the point where it leaves him and his Filipina broke. I must say that that really puzzles me, and frankly, it sounds rather absurd. Now, I do understand that these guys are not just referring to his Filipina who may send home a monthly allowance to her parents, but also they make mention of buying land and a house, helping to supply the family with a business, paying out for a motorbike or car for the family, and the list goes on. And I also understand that many requests may come in from his partner's family members, from siblings to nieces, nephews and cousins, for a wide variety of things they may need help with. And certainly I do understand this because over the years I've had many requests myself, but really it comes down to being realistic and being firm. I would certainly rather say no to many trivial things and be available to help for when real emergencies may arise, like after a natural disaster or someone being hospitalised. But here's the thing, and I want people to really listen very closely to what I'm about to say, because it's the truth and it's undeniable. If you've given money for some or all the things mentioned for a period of months or years, and then the relationship struggles or falls over, you have no grounds for complaint. And even if you guys are still happy together, but you don't like the fact that money seems to be hemorrhaging out of your bank account to the Philippines, then you still have no grounds for complaint, and I'll tell you why. You're an adult in an adult relationship, so surely when one enters into a relationship with a Filipina, and especially prior to marriage, one would know how Filipinas like to help out their parents and sometimes other relatives. And one would also know that some Filipino relatives may also be likely to ask for money now that they view the Filipina as being in a relationship with a much more wealthy foreigner. Simply, these things are not state-held secrets, and certainly you knew about them all before entering into any serious relationship with a Filipina. The way I see it is that many guys who feel this way have never actually discussed the issue of how much money to send, when to send, who to send it to, and for how long this is likely to last. These guys were all too happy to be rolling around with a beautiful Filipina, and they had a carefree attitude. Well, at least until the reality hit that much money was going home. And right here, one must realize that some parents will push hard to get as much as they can from their Filipina daughter, and simply, some Filipinas have a very hard time saying no. Had the guy had these discussions with his Filipina once the relationship was getting serious, then they wouldn't feel the way they do now. These guys surely would have come to an agreement they can both be happy with and where the ground rules were set. Unless, of course, these guys have no communication skills whatsoever. Now, this is notwithstanding if the Filipina is working herself, because that should also be considered, and who can begrudge her sending a small portion of her earnings home to help her parents out each month? But again, that comes back to being all part of the discussions. So really, if you've never had discussions with her about this, then really you're getting what you deserve, as she certainly isn't a mind reader. And you know, I've had guys say that they did discuss all this and came to an agreement with the Filipina, only for her to continuously send more home than was agreed upon. And if this is really the case, then more discussions need to be had in an adult way, especially if it's making you guys struggle, which I've seen for myself and other people's relationships. Then we have the guys who have bought land, a house, a business or motorcycle, etc. for the family, because at that time the relationship was still very fresh and he may have wanted to be a bit of a white knight or hero. But now he may have regrets, and as such it's really sour grapes on his part. After all, no one made him send the money to the Philippines. Simply, it was a choice he made, which he didn't have to make. So how can such a man complain about any of these things? The real truth of the matter is, if a guy has these discussions and there are firm boundaries around the whole money issue, so you guys can keep saving, and an agreement is made between you and the Filipina, then certainly you won't feel as though you're going broke. Look, I do understand for some it can be easy just to keep giving because you may have a kind heart or be an easy touch, but at the end of the day, you still have your own mind and make your own decisions. So please, don't make ridiculous statements like being in a relationship with a Filipina will send you broke, because at the end of the day, it only stands to make you appear rather foolish. If you're looking for a wealth of valuable information and tips around foreigner Filipina relationships, then be sure to check out my playlist appearing on screen right now. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.